Hi, I'm Dave Bennett, and welcome once again to the world of amateur wrestling. The video you're about to watch was done with Gene Mills, and Gene has such a long list of accomplishments, I'm not going to try to memorize it, I'm just going to read it to you. He's a 4-time All-American, 2-time NCAA champion, and in 1981 was voted Outstanding Wrestler. He holds the unofficial college record for pins at 107 pins, and was a Pan American Games champion. He won the Tbilisi tournament in the USSR, and to my knowledge is the only American to win this tournament with no black marks against him. He's a World Super Champion, 2-time World Cup champion, and a member of the 1980 Olympic team. He was voted Athlete of the Year by the U.S. Olympic Committee and was 1982 National AAU champion. 1985, he won the Roger Goulon Cup in France and the Rákóczi Cup in Hungary. He won the National Sports Festival Championship in the USA and was a member of the U.S. World Team competing in Budapest, Hungary this year. He's also assistant coach at Syracuse University. I asked Gene whether there was any one of these championships that stood out most in his mind.
Well, there's pretty much 3 that really stick out in my mind. The finals of the Nationals my junior year, it was 82-0 between my opponent and myself, and both of us pretty much dominated everybody in the country. And right at the end, it came down to the last 10-15 seconds where I came out ahead 16-13, which was, I don't know, something I really built myself towards the whole year. Another match was in the finals of the World Cup against the Olympic champ from Russia. Coming back, losing 9-6 with 15 seconds to go, and coming back and beating them in the closing seconds of the match. And probably the best tournament was the Tbilisi tournament over in Russia, which is considered to be the hardest tournament in the world. And I went through there 9 matches with no bad marks, and it was an accomplishment that has still never been done to date.
I also asked Gene if there's anything he attributed his success to.
Well, I know when I was younger and I first started wrestling, my father used to wrestle, and he showed me a lot of moves, and he used to make me work a lot on my hip movement, and it really helped me out with my balance. And I think my balance has always been my biggest attribute, because I could scramble out of almost any situation because of my balance and my hips, and just making the commitment when I was young just to work out all the time.
In talking with Gene, I asked him if he had any advice for the young wrestler.
Well, there's really 1,000,001 things you could say, but if you really want to be a champion, you have to make sacrifices. You have to set goals. You have to set your goals high. And when you set your goals, you have to work harder than you think other people are working. And whenever you're tired and you're sick of it, you do it some more. And that's a way when you're younger to really help you break the ice, because a lot of times in a match you'll get tired and you'll say, I don't want to do it, but you have to. And it's good mental training. And if you can do something that you don't want to, if you can make your body and mind do something that you really don't want to, well then you're breaking an ice, and you're breaking a point that a lot of people won't do.
Gene's going to cover the Russian tie, or 2-on-1 series. I asked him why he's perfected this series.
Well, the reason that I worked Russian 2-on-1 is because all through high school and college, I really did not have good technique from the normal situation on my feet, shooting and attacking a single, double, or high crotch situation. So in order for me to get that in my later years of competition, I realized the only way I can get it is by stopping the guy, holding him by grabbing an arm with a Russian 2-on-1, making that guy momentarily stop so I can shoot my moves. Now, I can do a single leg, a high crotch, fireman's, double, whatever it may be, but the only way I've been really successful with it is to stop the guy so I can do what I want to do. Alright, what we're going to go over is what we call a Russian 2-on-1. And one of the most important things is to set it up and control your opponent before you try to do something with it. The 3 different ways I like to work into a Russian 2-on-1 is from a tie-up position, just reaching over my shoulder here, shrugging my shoulder, and hooking in his armpit and his wrist, pulling it to my chest with both palms up so I can hitchhike either side. If I'm in here, if you notice my elbow is out, I want to keep my elbows in like I'm in a good stance at all times. I want my knees bent, my head in good position. So I'm in here, I want to take, move it to the side, and stay in good position at all times. A lot of times guys will try to fight inside control. I want inside control, he wants inside control. Now I can come underneath and go into my Russian 2-on-1. So I want inside control, he takes inside control, I grab the wrist, circle a little bit, head inside, and I'm clamping it tight to my chest. I want my elbows in just like I'm shooting for any kind of a leg shot, and I want to stay in good position. Another way, if I have a hard time ripping this and peeling it, I like to just put my hand over and I can shrug it. As I shrug it, I rotate this under and control it nice and tight. Again, I'm here. I turn my palm down, rotate up. I want my elbows in. When you're wrestling, you always keep at least your hands in or palms up. If you turn your palms down, chances are your elbows are going to go out. And it's the same thing with the Russian 2-on-1 series. Now, the first thing I like to do with a Russian 2-on-1 is I like to fake him out. He thinks I'm going to hit a Russian 2-on-1 because I'm dragging into him. I grab his wrist, I pull him right by me. So I am actually suckering him, thinking that I am going to hit a Russian 2-on-1. So I'm in here, I grab the wrist, and I pull him back. When I turn this corner, pull the wrist, I control his hip. I don't want to come around the waist because I don't want to get rolled. I'm pushing into him, he's pushing back. I turn the corner, I guide him past me, right here, and I come on top. The next one is controlling that Russian 2-on-1. I get inside control, he fights for inside control, I control him. I push into him to get a reaction. As he's pushing into me, I'm going to squat, pull all his weight down, and I'm going to guide him past me, on top. So I'm in here, I'm just going to squat and throw him by. I'm in here, fight inside control. I drive into him to get a reaction. I squat, throw him by, on top. When I am controlling this Russian 2-on-1 nice and tight, I can release this wrist, come in the armpit nice and tight, and walk myself behind him. And arm drag. So I'm in here, I'm reaching up, I'm changing from wrist to the armpit, and if you notice, I'm pulling down. All my weight is on him. I drag, and I can come behind him, not into the mat. Now, a lot of setups that I really like to use is I like to kick high in the thigh and go for what I call an ankle pick. As you know, or as you can see, I'm kicking high on the thigh, and then I'm blocking his foot, turning my foot like this. And by doing that, I am going to stop him from stepping out from behind it. If I just came in here, he can step out. But if I turn this foot up here, it's a lot harder. I've got all my weight, I'm pulling all my weight down on him, and now I'm driving, and if you notice, I do not have to reach. I've got it right in reach. I'm driving his weight over his leg, picking his ankle, and popping. So I can ankle pick him. Kick high, block here. I'm almost trying to step on the outside of his foot. And as I drive, I'm bringing myself to his knee and picking his ankle. As I pick his ankle, I can take him down. Now, we always would rather have 5 points as opposed to 2. So, if we get in here, kick high on the thigh, we're driving the weight down, we're controlling him, we release the wrist to here. As he falls, I'm going to jump up, right here. I don't kick low, I kick high. I want all that weight on that foot. Now when I block, as soon as I block, I'm driving the weight over him. I'm getting him off balance. If I tried to come in here and reach, he could reach over with this arm and bump into me and put me right to my back. So I want to kick high, block, and drive into him. As I do, I pick this up, run it around his head. Another thing I like to do, I like the same setup. I kick up here and here. A lot of times the guys try to turn their hips a little bit to face me, and I duck under, come right behind. Here, I kick here. Here, he tries to face me, I duck and come behind. Another one, I come in here to here, he tries to face me, come down to single, drive into him. Whenever I get here, I don't want to ever pick the leg up. By picking the leg up, he can drive into me and try an ankle pick. But by driving into him, I don't have to pick up his weight. I drive into him, all the weight comes off here. And now I've got the single. And with a single, you can run the pike, come in here. Now, at the same time we're doing that, we have an option whether to do a type of a Tarzan swing on this arm. If I come in here to here, he tries to face me, I'm gonna sit. Here. I kick here and here, gonna squat. Now, as I go to squat, I'm gonna throw my head back and turn. I'm pulling down on this armpit, and I'm pushing up with this wrist, and I'm trying to get him to fly over my left shoulder. Here, here, here. I'm gonna squat. At the same time, in this situation, instead of going to the outside, I can come underneath with a fireman's carry. Come in here to here. Now, a lot of times, if I'm going to hit a fireman's carry, I want him to step back with that leg. So what I'm going to do is sucker him to step back by coming here and here, not hooking it, right there. Now he steps back, I come underneath with a fireman's carry, pop my hips, I keep all my weight on him, and I rotate my head out. I don't want to come here and get it caught in his armpit. I want to bring that head up and here. Different angle. And here. Kick up here. He goes to face me. I come underneath. I pop him up, keeping all my weight on him, rotating my head up, turning, putting all my weight on him. Hips up off the ground. When I'm in here,
I don't want to keep my head here. A lot of wrestlers have a tendency of keeping their head there. They come in here, the guy comes up and he puts pressure on him. Now it's a fight. We don't want to fight. We want to take him down to his back for the fall. He squares off. He thinks I'm going to hit a fireman. I'm going to drive. Switch high crotch to a double. It's just a setup. Here, he thinks I'm going to hit a fireman, so I'm going to come in here for a high crotch or a single leg. I'm going to drive off my left leg, which is my power leg, using my head. Let me turn this way. Right here. Using my head, pushing to the side. And as I do drive, I'm going to switch this arm to the side and bring this here. So I'm in here. So the Russian 2-on-1, as you can see, is just a setup. We're using this to hit many other moves. I'm in here, here. He goes to sprawl back. Come in with a single leg up, and turn. With the Russian 2-on-1. If I kick here and block and I let him step out, all I have to do is step across and I have a lateral drop. Setting him up, thinking that I am going to get that ankle pick. Coming here to here, I step across and I have a lateral drop. Now it's important that when I do my lateral drop, a lot of people come in here. I do not. I'm getting him to lean, because when he steps back, he's leaning into me. I'm going to step my right leg past him. As I step my right leg past him, he's driving into me. He's leaning into me because all his weight is coming forward. Instead of me holding him up, I'm going to step past him, twist my body, fall on my left hip, and he will fall over me. So I'm driving into him, he's leaning into me, I step past him, and all his weight falls. So here, when I kick his leg and he steps back, he's going to be leaning into me. I don't want to get tired and hold him up, so I'm just going to step past him and let him fall over me. Here, here. The same situation. I'm coming in here to here, he steps back. What I like to do is I like to come inside, not like this, inside and circle him down to a front headlock. Now, if I'm in a match and I swing down and front headlock him 5 times in a match, his natural reaction is going to be to keep that head up so I cannot front headlock him. So every time he comes up, he is giving me the opportunity to shoot on him. He's going to leave himself wide open all the time. So by coming in here, he wants to come up. I've got all kinds of moves. Everything I've just showed you, you can do. Because we can set him up here to a front headlock. He doesn't want to be here. There's a lot of moves you can do from a front headlock. We are going over the Russian 2-on-1 series. But it's a great setup for your front headlock. Your front headlock is a great setup for all the moves that we have just gone over. With a Russian 2-on-1, I also like to drop my level and release the armpit arm to inside his knee. Once I get to the situation, I am keeping this wrist and driving into him. As I drive into him, I want to swing his leg in one of 2 directions, in front of me or in back of me. If I drive into him and swing him in front of me, I go to foot sweep. So I'm in a Russian, I drop my level, I drive. Now as I'm driving, I want to drive and pull it in front of me. Here, drive and pull it in front of me. Once I get his leg up in the air, by driving here, now I can release the wrist, grab my own arm, and as he is hopping, I want to foot sweep him and put him to the mat. But as he's hopping, take him to the mat. We have the Russian, we drop our level. As we keep this wrist and drive into him, we're going to swing the leg in front of us. As soon as we get that leg up, as we are driving, he must hop with that opposite leg in order to keep his balance. As he hops, he foot sweeps.
I stepped on his foot. It didn't work.
Here, drop as we drive. There. Again, here, drop as we drive. I also have the option, instead of pulling him in front of me, to pull him back up on my hip. So I have the Russian, I drop my level. As I drive into him, I'm going to pick this up on my right hip. And I'm going to step forward with my right knee, or my left knee. I'm going to step forward with my left knee. Russian, drop my level, keeping the wrist. As I drive, step. Now, I have this Russian, a drop here. If he fights to keep this in between my legs, so I can't swing it in front or in back, right in here, he comes in there, I can do what they call run the pike, putting my weight over the top of his knee, stepping back small steps, and kind of bowing right here. Here, as I drive, he catches it in here, grabbing this. I'm going to take short steps back, rotating him in a circle, putting my pressure down here, and keeping this up, keeping down by his ankle, his calf high, putting the pressure down, circling him, and then bowing. Now, if I'm in here and I'm trying to get him to step and he won't, and he keeps hopping, all I do is I change from here, slide this up his crotch. As I slide this arm up my crotch, I'm going to pop my head out to the back. Here. Now that I pop it out to the back, I'm going to step with my left leg, pop my hip, and my left arm is going to come up to his lap. Here. Pull him to the mat. So here he hops. I slide up, step. Now, anytime I'm in that situation when I have him up in the air, I can also finish it with a Turk. I'm in here, I drive, I want to run the pike, he won't let me. I slide up behind, I step here. As I rotate him to his back, I can Turk.
Gene's going to cover what happens when the man pushes on your head.
Anytime he pushes my head away, good, push here, all I have to do is I can drop my level, throw this arm up, keep my head on the same side it's on. And all I do is I drop my level throwing this up, he's going to fall into me with a double. Pick him up. Slam him to his back. So I'm in here, he's pushing my head away. I'm going to drop my level and throw this arm up. Now by pushing my head away, he's also leaning into me. But by coming in here, right here, hips underneath, pop, reach underneath, I can swing him to his back. So I'm setting up a double leg when he pushes up away on my head. So I just throw it up and drop right here. Or I can go right into the crotch. Get in the foot. So in here he's pushing away. I throw this up, I drop, and cut the corner, come up, and check. I also have that too. Pushing that head away. I'm going to drop my level, and I don't have to throw the arm up past his arm. All I have to do is block it. Now he can't get his left arm down. So I'm in here, I block, and I come underneath. All his weight's there. I can pivot to go in the crotch, or I can pick him up with a double. A lot of people would rather not use both arms. They'd rather just pop in here. Here, switch into a high crotch. Then it's changing over. Here, just posting. As I post, I'm gonna drop this down and I'm gonna high crotch. One more time. I'm gonna post, I'm gonna drop my level, high crouch, cut the corner. Now here, I can just pop. There he's posting the head, drop, cut. The other one I could do, if he's pushing my head away, is I can squat and throw him by. He's leaning into me because he's pushing into me. As I squat and drop my level, we did this before, but don't think you can't do it just because he's pushing your head away. Down, guide him by you, come on top.
Let's talk about what happens when he pulls on your elbow.
A lot of times I'll be in here, he'll counter by pulling my elbow. All I have to do, step past. If you notice, as he's pulling my elbow, he's pulling this arm into his armpit. So if he pulls it tight, it's going right there. I step past him and all I have to do is fall. Right to his back. So in here, he's pulling that, step past him, right to his back. If he's pulling my elbow and driving into me, all I have to do is step across with this foot right in here with a lateral drop. By pushing into me and pulling my elbow, I'm struggling to hold him up. I don't want to struggle. I don't want to hold him up. I'll get tired trying to hold him up. So instead, I'd much rather have him on his back, and it's pretty easy to fall on my hip. I'm going to step across on his left hip. elbow, I can drop underneath and fireman's, keeping the wrist and the arm the whole time. Here, he's pulling that. All I have to do is drop my level, get this arm tight, put my head in his armpit. Turn this way. Right in here. So I want to get this tight. I keep this wrist and I turn it up and I throw him over, keeping all my weight on him, then rotating. I have the Russian here, he's pulling my elbow. I'm going to drop underneath, help him up using this arm, torquing that arm. If he is pulling my elbow and driving into me, I can step across, block his ankle, and help him over with a foot sweep. And here, he's pulling my elbow, I'm just gonna block. Right there. Here, he's pulling my elbow, I'm going to block. Here, as he pulls, he's leaning into me, I step and I block. And it's almost like a lateral drop, really. Right in here. Boom. We were working a lateral drop, stepping in here. We could also foot sweep. And the way the foot sweep is successful is because when I'm blocking, I am extending his body. All the weight is planted on this foot. Now by extending his body, he's got to turn. I am not muscling him over. All I'm doing is I'm planting all the weight and I'm extending him and he has to turn. He has to fall. So that's how I'm doing that. If he grabs my wrist, anytime a guy grabs my wrist, I'll pull in, and as he tries to pull it up, I'm gonna duck under. Here, all I have to do, I can release it if I want, pull it in, and duck under. Now, anytime I duck under, it's very important that I throw my head back. Here. By throwing that head back, I am making him lean forward, there, and taking away all his base. Another thing I can do if he has my wrist is, again, I have that fireman's, by keeping his wrist and pushing it, rotating it underneath. Here. Here, he's got my wrist. I'm going to drop. Now, I do not care if he keeps that wrist, because if I drop and he keeps it, I'm still going to be able to throw him forward. And again, if he has my wrist, I can also step past him. Now, whether I get this underneath his armpit or not does not really matter, because I am trapping all the weight on this one leg. I have this overhook nice and tight, and when I block, all I do is fall. As we fall, I fall on my side, he falls on his back, he can keep my wrist. Right here. Boom. He can keep that wrist. Here he pulls this wrist, and as he pulls my wrist, chances are he's going to try to underhook with his right arm. Here I just step past him. Oh, he's got my wrist. Don't bother me. Now a body lock is a little harder to do here because I can't really lock and get my arms around him. But if he's pushing into me, even if he has this wrist, I could also step across like I did when he was pulling my elbow and launch him. The key is his weight. He's pushing into me. So he wants to go that way. If I'm holding him up, he cannot fall. But if I step out of his way, I can let him fall.
Now let's see what happens when the opponent has the 2-on-1 on us.
If this man has the Russian 2-on-1 on me, one of the first things I like to do is I like to try to pull this towards me so I can control my arm. I don't want my arm out here. I want to control it. Next thing I'm going to do is I push into the man. I'm going to make a V with my thumb. I'm going to push down. First I'm going to pull it towards me. Then I'm going to dynamically step out and drop my level. And I'm going to pull this down and shoot it between his legs. But he must be driving into me. And the way I get him to drive into me is by driving into him first. Here. He's got the Russian. I'm going to drop my level. Now, he's got my arm tight. If I'm going to drop my level, my arm is very close to the mat. If he has my arm and he holds it tight, when I bring it down to the mat, he is going to fall. So naturally, if I come in here and he falls, all I have to do is come on top. Here, I'm driving in, he's driving into me. I drop my level, I come on top. Another thing I like to do is I like to pull the elbow, kick, and we did that when we had the Russian 2-on-1. I could also do it if he has it on me. So he has the Russian 2-on-1, gonna kick, block. As I drive into him, all his weight, he is leaning, he's gonna fall. I'm the only one holding him up. So if I slide down here, whoops, he falls. Here, there, there. He has a Russian 2-on-1. I can face him, block here, jack up his elbow, and foot sweep. He's got the Russian. I'm driving into him, he's driving into me. I'm going to step and face him. As I face him, this foot is going to block here. His left arm is going to jack up his far elbow. The only time that will work is if he is driving into me. I set that up by driving into him first. Now, if all his weight is leaning into me, I face him and block this leg. That means all the weight is going to be trapped on this leg. If he can't move that leg and it's blocked and all his body weight is going that way, his upper body's going to go down there, his leg's going to stay there, that means he's going to be extended. He's going to fall. Here. If I can get underneath this elbow and get the shoulder here, shoulder throw, come here. He's got this Russian. I'm going to pull this elbow. When I pull this elbow, I'm going to slide my shoulder underneath. So I'm in here. I'm going to slide, come up to my head, throw one of my hips up to make him fly over me. Come on top. Now, when I go to do this, I got to step underneath and I'm going to pivot. Here, I'm keeping this tight. When I'm pulling that elbow, I pull that elbow and I keep that tight. This hand doesn't matter, because when I drop down, I jump up on my toes, stand up in a better position. Another thing I could do here is reach inside, pull and circle him. If I pull and circle him, I can pull him into a front headlock. So in here, I'm going to pull him into a front headlock. That gets me out of the Russian 2-on-1, which I feel a lot more comfortable being out of the Russian 2-on-1 and having the front headlock myself. Come in here, circle him. I would much rather be in my position now than what I was a second ago. If my opponent has the Russian 2-on-1, what I can do is grab his elbow, circle him in front of me, drop my level, inside trip, kicking my heel to my butt. As I do kick my heel to my butt, I want to face him, drop my level, and pop my hips into me. So it's going to be like this, splitting his legs. He's got the Russian 2-on-1. I want to circle him, inside trip. When I inside trip him, I would like to get my arms out and post out, like a big bird. If I have my arm in, he might be able to pop me over and roll me to my back. So to stop him from rolling me over to my back with momentum, I must get my arms out there. Here, I pull, inside trip, get my arms out. A lot of times the guy will have this. What I might do is I might do a 360 where I'll drop my level, spin, shoot a double leg. Here, I drop my level first. Now that I drop my level, this is going to be my pivot foot. I'm going to pivot, shoot a double. I'm neutral. Now that I am in this situation, I don't want to be here, so I may try to pull the elbow to get into the pummel position and then work from an upper body situation. I'd much rather be chest to chest than I would be just giving him this arm. So I pull this arm, keeping my body low, coming up and trying to work for a good position. Body lock. Here. And the way I do it is I pull the elbow and rotate this here. I don't want to stand up straight because I feel I can get launched here. So I want to face him and lower my level and then come up. And if you notice, the way I do this, pulling, coming here, I'm coming and turning here, I've got him to the point where I can throw him. So it's a very nice change off. Here, pulling, coming here. Now I don't feel good right here. So what I want to do is I want to come here. Now if you notice I am trapping this elbow to the side. I am pinching his leg so he can't step back. And now all I have to do is fall. But my main concern in that situation is getting out of the Russian into a neutral position. So we're in a pummel position. I want to step here. The next one. If he has a Russian, I can grab this wrist and I want to try and get him to step forward and pull this wrist. I want to pull that wrist past me. Here, grab this wrist, and I want to drop, pull, and guide it past me. Sometimes he may do what he just did and go down, but at least I'll get in a neutral situation at the worst. Coming here, he may just come and face me. which I don't care, but I want him off that arm. I don't want him on there. If you want to be successful with this Russian 2-on-1, the things you have to concentrate on is setting up to get into it, whether working from when he inside ties or coming over or just peeling it, controlling it to your chest. And you must learn how to set him up by moving your opponent, controlling that arm tight, or by faking a front headlock, or by somehow faking like you're gonna trip. You have to learn how to control your opponent. And once you do, you have to do it over and over again. When I get in that situation, I drill it. I get it, I shoot a single, I shoot a double, I shoot a high crotch, I shoot a fireman's, I'll move around, I'll ankle pick, and I'll do it over and over again to make it second nature. So in a match I get in that situation, I react. I don't think, I react. You want the move to be second nature. You don't want to be in a situation where you get in there and you say, oh, I can do this, I can do that, oh, you got away. When you get in that situation, you want to hit the move second nature without thinking about it. You don't want to have to think about it, have the guy get out and say, I shoulda, woulda, coulda.
I want to thank Gene Mills for a most informative video, and I hope you look for other videos coming from DDD Productions with some of the greatest names in the world of wrestling. Thank you.